You probably haven't heard of this film before, but honestly, I think you guys should give it a shot. So let's talk about it. Heather bumps into Carla, having not spoken to her in years, and presents her with a very unexpected proposition that could change both of their lives forever. The film stars Naomie Harris and Natalie Dormer and was directed by Guillem, and I've never seen any of his previous works. The Wasp, I saw a trailer for this film one time in theaters. When I went to go check out this film, I went to go check it out by myself in the theater. Nobody else was there, and that really didn't surprise me whatsoever because there was zero promotion for this film. Now, I'm going to be kind of vague for this film. I don't want to give away too much. Kind of like Strange Darling, this is a film that you really need to go into this film pretty blind and not know too much. I wouldn't even watch a trailer. Just go into it pretty blind. What I'll say is this. You have two women. You have a woman named Heather, and you have a woman named Carla who is white. They are old schoolmates. Heather, she is black. She has a husband named Simon. She's rich and she's childless, and we learn that she cannot have a child whatsoever. And then you have Carla, who is poor, and she is on her fifth child. She's living with her father, I believe, because he does help take care of the children, and she works at a supermarket, so she's not making much money whatsoever. And you have Heather here, who starts to hit up Carla, and she's like, hey, I have a proposition for you, and I'm not going to go into anything further other than that. Now, what did I actually like about this film? This film has some interesting ideas and themes. Now, it covers motherhood, it covers class, and it also covers racial trauma as well. Now, this is actually adapted from a stage play, and I can understand that because this film mainly takes place in one centralized location in Heather's living room, in which we learn a lot about the characters. A lot of mysteries are very much unraveled in this living room. For the first 30 minutes, we do get a few different settings, and there is some interesting cinematography of the city. I do believe this takes place in England. I'm not sure what town, but I do know that it takes place over in England, and I only knew that mainly because of just how the cities was designed, and also the license plates on the cars as well is obviously not a US license plate. There's a lot of different flashbacks in here that really helps explain the story, and we have really good acting performances from both women here. They do a great job. Natalie Dormer, I believe I saw her in a horror film called The Forest, and I've always thought that she's a pretty decent actress, but I've never really seen her in a lot of films. Naomie Harris, I don't believe I've seen her in many films, if any. I can't recall of any, but I thought she did a great job here. There's definitely a sense of riveting character development here, also some unhinging type of development, and very meticulous development as well, which I really did enjoy because this film, the way that it plays out, is very interesting in a one-setting location. I realize that doesn't work for everybody, but the performances here are what really elevate this film. The color palette here is very much muted. Even so, with that color palette being muted, the camera work here is very much helping an eerie feeling really come out of this film. The dialogue here, obviously, it is read mainly so like a stage play. So a lot of things that are really coming out, it's like going into acts. And this film, even though it takes place a lot in the one centralized location, you definitely feel like as the film is building along, that you feel like you're going through different stages of acts of this film. Now, this film does have some metaphors, specifically with bees. If there's one thing that I could say about this film that I wasn't really crazy about, or something that could have been improved, I would say learning more about the relationship with Heather and her husband Simon. Now, we do get one scene that actually starts off this film in which Heather is in the kitchen. You have Simon, who has like this work party going on, and she's hearing all this buzzing. Obviously, she has something against bees. She likes to kill them. And we see that because there is a ledge in which she has tons of bees that are just sitting there killed. There's one point where she hears a bunch of buzzing, and then all of a sudden she takes a hammer and she takes it to the ceiling, and they have this big, huge beehive in which she freaks out and she falls off a ladder, I believe. And then her husband comes in and he's really pissed that she just interrupted this work party. And that beginning scene there, it really does go into the metaphor of this film, in which some of the themes that really are brought up, really much so in the racial trauma that I described about the themes that are actually involved in this film. That setting of that scene, just to set up the film, is just absolutely brilliant. I really did like the message of this film. The ending of this film, I was just like in awe by the time this actually ended. I felt like it was perfect the way they ended it, but also the way that it was just kind of formulated as the film went along. It was so meticulous. It was so planned. I would say also, too, with the ending, that I wish there was just a little bit more, because it's revealed enough to actually find out actually what happened. But at the same time, there could have been a little bit more, but that's just wishful thinking on my part. As far as the score for this film, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. I had a good time with this. I completely realize that not a lot of people maybe don't want to watch a one centralized location where it's just two characters talking and maybe learning about them. But if you're into character study films, you're looking for something that has a little bit of thriller edge, but even though it's in that one centralized location, I do think it's kind of eerie at points. I do think that it gets dark at points, and you do learn enough about these characters that you're interested throughout the journey of this 90-minute runtime. So what did you guys think about this film? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you just think it was kind of meh? If you haven't checked it out yet, are you going to check it out when it comes to streaming or VOD, or are you going to check it out at the theater? Leave any and all comments down below, and I will see you guys next time.